everyone, and welcome to Eternal Mooncast, a streaming show all about Sailor Moon fan theories. We cover everything from the prominent to the obscure in the Mooniverse. We're your co-hosts, Michi and
Selene. But first, a quick Moony disclaimer. We'd like to remind everyone that these are just our personal opinions, and we do not in any way represent Toei or the Sailor Moon intellectual property. Tonight, we are going to be delving in to Sailor Mercury, the weakest Sailor Scout, with our special guest, Eric of K-Sisters Cosplay. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hi, everybody. Really happy to be here.
Yes, welcome. Michi, really quick, can you switch our positions? There we go. Thank you. So I actually look like I'm looking at you.
yes, hello everybody, and I hope everybody is excited and wanting to talk about our wonderful Bubble Girl Mercury, because out of all the scouts that we have talked about on the show, somehow she has escaped our grasps without being able to do a whole episode on her.
I got a nose itch. I'm sorry. I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. Don't laugh at my model. She had this, but yeah, Mercury is probably second or third on my list, but she just wasn't something we brought forward because I wouldn't have been able to fill an episode all by myself.
Yes, this was something that we had to bring in a Mercury enthusiast to defend her honor, to show us why she's actually really cool and actually can really bring a lot to the team besides just being a girl genius. So let's talk about her origin. So Sailor Mercury comes in, it depends on the version of Sailor Moon we're either reading, watching, and or a lot of other things, but she comes in relatively soon. For me, since I was watching the deep dub growing up, she was in episode 2.
Guess she was it episode 2? I thought it was like episode 3 or 4.
Yeah, no, it was further in. They had a fair number of episodes like with just Serena, just all
because they had
own.
like a cruise ship.
Yeah,
they had the rocker girl.
I want to say it was like episode like 5 or 6. I don't know. It was a little bit in before they dumped her in there. Like in the manga, she showed up real fast. Everything happens fast in the manga, but
I think she was like what act 2. She was already there, like chapter the next one.
Yeah,
because they show her right at the end, like right after the whole fighting in Naru's mom's shop, and it's just like a glimpse of Ami. And then it's Ami's episode, essentially.
Okay, maybe I'm mixing it up with the manga. That it's like next episode she's there.
Yeah, because in the Japanese version, it's like what 10 episodes of just Usagi.
Yeah, it's even further in because they dropped at least 1 or 2 episodes from the beginning. They brought it over to the US.
Because it was a lot of the Luna Pen episodes.
Yeah.
So you had like her as the J rocker, you had her as the journalist,
the cruise ship photographer.
I think wasn't Ami and Ray in that though, because they all went.
Oh no, you're right.
Because Ami or Ray won the cruise tickets,
you're
but
right.
Ray took Ami. What else did she do? Because there's one episode that they didn't actually show in the US during the deep dubs. It was one of the transformations.
It was like episode 2 or 3, and it was that craziness where they had go totally love crazy and run around naked and and they were like, this is not appropriate for American audiences, so they just didn't bother. And that yeah, they were like, no, we cannot.
Was it her being a news anchor or something? Was because there was one episode of the Luna Pen that they were like, we're not going to show this here. I don't remember off the top of my head. I don't remember. I really need to make a list of the Deke episodes to figure out which ones we're missing. But yeah, depending on which media, manga, 2 seconds and she's there. Deke, I want to say 5 episodes, but the actual show, it was like 10 episodes of just Usagi.
Right.
Yeah, that I remember. The original, I was like shook that it was so much about Usagi.
I was like, why is it taking so long? Where is Mercury?
I know, I really missed her.
And then Crystal, it was fast because Crystal followed the manga, of course.
Right.
So
it was like same deal. It was like episode 2, then she was there.
Now, her reception in America for coming in, I don't know. Let's talk about a little bit about our history then. So, Erica, what was your background with Sailor Moon? How did you get into it?
It's funny that I don't really remember clearly why I started watching it in the first place. All I know is that I started watching it when it was on Toonami in the afternoons after school. So this was like, I don't like 98, 99, something around there. Like also, yeah, I'm old, y'all. I'm like I'm an elder Sailor Moon fan, but like my sister and I started watching it together
Squints at
after
you.
school.
I'm like, how old?
Over 40.
Damn it! You beat me. You beat me.
It's,
Congratulations. Almost no one has beat me on the show except for Monica.
Was when the show was first coming out, like when it was brand new, I was already in high school. So if that tells you anything. But like, I did not watch anime. Yeah, I
turned 40 this year though.
There we go. Okay, you're in the club. See? All good. But yeah, so I don't remember how I started watching it, but I know I just randomly started watching it. We started watching it together, and I was like immediately hooked. I cannot tell you what triggered it, and I don't know even where in the show I started watching it. Like back in the day, they were just cycling it through over and over again. So I started somewhere, and I must have watched the whole thing through however many times they showed it. So I have no idea where I started. I feel like I missed a lot of those first episodes where it was just Serena, because I don't remember them very clearly at all. The only reason I know anything is because I was like researching stuff, getting ready for this.
Yeah.
Because genuinely it's been years, but I just know that Amy spoke to me immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she was my favorite from day one, because I'm no girl genius, absolutely freaking not. But I was always like the overperforming school kid. I was always the kind of nerdy, quiet one. Like I wasn't super social. I was very introverted. I didn't have a lot of real friends. I always felt on the outside. And like seeing this girl who was all of those things, but then also had this amazing power in her and had this group of friends that she could rely on and have fun with, but also deal with these crazy things with, was like so inspiring to me. And I was immediately like, that's my girl. That's, if I was living in a fantasy world, like having to be me, like that's what I would hope I could do to be important.
Oh, I love that.
I've always loved her. And like, I feel like a lot of us, like you grow past maybe the things that drew you to characters to begin with, but that connection never goes away. So like I've been a cosplayer for maybe 10 years, and she was one of my first cosplays ever. She was like the third cosplay I made, and I have continually cosplayed her because I just love her so much. And even though I'm over 40 and I'm like, this girl is like 16, what am I doing? But I love being her because it feels like this piece of me that I can explore and embody and like heal a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I've always loved her. She's always been my favorite. And there's lots of other characters I love, but she's always been my best girl.
Oh, I love that so much. That's such a sweet story about how she became your best girl. It's funny because for me growing up, it wasn't until S that I found my favorite characters, because that's when the lesbians get brought in. But I remember, because I'm really tall, Celine's taller than me, but that's a rarity.
Hey, tall girls club. Wait, hold up.
Yeah, I'm 5'9".
I'm 5'10".
Oh god, y'all, I'm 5'11".
Oh,
damn it! No,
both of us.
No, she's not allowed to be older than me and taller. We're done. I'm leaving.
The
night.
joke I make constantly is that I'm a freaking Amazon. Like in any group, I'm like, I'll be in the back.
I'm leaving.
Back here.
No,
I'm sorry. I'll just like.
No, don't.
He's taking everything from me. I'm not tall anymore. I'm not the oldest.
No, but being over 5'6" is being tall for a femme presenting person. This is just.
Like, oh my god, the face.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
It's fine. I'll be fine.
Wildcat Diana coming in saying real quick, in the 90s, the extroverted popular girls are the heroes. So it gives you 10 different types of strong women. And to this day, introverted, feminine, nerdy girls are hard to find in the hero pop culture.
Who are like actual introverted, nerdy pop girls. There's a lot of characters that seem that way until they take their glasses off and all of a sudden they're like a beauty queen, or that like the characters who are genuinely like, yeah, I love to learn. I love books. I want to be a doctor. And that's like my thing. Like that's unusual for sure still. And yeah, like I was reading some stuff on Reddit the other day about, and I don't know how true this is, but this theory that like Amy was super popular in Japan, but like Makoto was really popular in the US because she is that extroverted, strong, badass, take no names kind of character. And that's like what we in this country like value, or what we think is not so much as what we value, but it's like what we find to be like aspirational for a woman. So like Amy was subversive in that way because she was such a stereotype of a nerd, but she was also really badass in her own way. Like she was still a hero. And that I feel like that's like a weird dichotomy for people to actually understand, accept still.
No,
You
I
actually
agree.
mentioning that yeah, that is the reason she was more popular in Japan, because she embodied what they wanted to see female students be like,
It was like the
which was
cultural ideal.
shy and quiet and really getting into your studies, because that's huge in Japan.
Right.
Like that's how you're supposed to be. While Usagi is the kid that you don't want to have. Rei is more of a shrine maiden, which she's embodying more because she goes to a Catholic school, which I think is hilarious.
Is her school really a Catholic school? I don't think I ever
She
picked
really
up
goes
on
to
that.
Catholics. They
It's a
actually have
Catholic school.
nuns.
Wait, for
It's
real?
nuns. It's a Catholic school.
It's a
Really?
Catholic school with nuns.
But then she's
Wow.
running a Shinto shrine. I say she's like the classic cute, cool beauty. That's what she is for. That's why like Usagi is like, she's so pretty and so cool, and then follows her around. Koto is the gang girl who's not actually has a good heart. And then you've got Minako, who is, I feel like she is American based, very much because the blonde hair and blue eyes. And then her very much like Valley Girl almost. Carefree. I want to be an idol, and school's like blah, but I'm good at sports. And I think that like this, they had very stereotypical attitudes. So you're right about Ami being very much what they wanted to embody for Japanese girls. And that's what they wanted them to follow. And it's a lot of her stuff. Like you said that, I'm like, you're right. Holy shit. It's something I thought about with Ami. And yes, she must be protected at all costs because she's a good bean.
She's a very good bean.
And also the whole doctor thing. How many dramas are out there that are like, you better be a doctor or marry a doctor or a lawyer? And that's what you're going to school for. I'm like, you need to calm down. Not everybody can be a lawyer and a doctor. Where are all the jobs going to go? They're all going to be gone. But so yeah, she does really embody that aspect. And I think that's why she was not popular here in the States, because that's not how we are. We're told to be loud and voice our opinions and don't. It's not that she put herself down, it's she wasn't vocal enough. Like she talked to her friends and she gave her opinions there, but it wasn't enough where she stood her ground enough that she would have been popular here, with especially with the time frame and the shows that were coming out at that time. It makes sense that people would go maybe towards Usagi or Mina a lot more for that time. I'm done with my soapbox.
I was going to say, she also had some of the best one-liners in the entirety of Geekdom.
Go bleach your roots, creep.
Who doesn't love that line?
Iconic.
I found a quick compilation that just to play it like a minute of, where she just has some of the best one-liners. And this is from Rosa Smash with a 4 for that.
Please, food. I need food. Sorry, I just finished my lunch. That's twice this week now. Silly. You didn't even leave me a crumb. Sabrina, stay with me. I'll give you some orange juice.
That poor guy.
Hope he doesn't get sick to his stomach. He's perfectly fine. She's right. I wouldn't be so worried. Thank you. If the cookies were completely burned through, there's little chance Mamoru would get food poisoning. I wish we could get back all this.
Like the stuff that comes out of her mouth sometimes.
It's that whole deal where she's so serious. She's like unintentionally funny, right? She's never trying to be funny, but she says these things like in full sincerity that just like in context are absolutely hilarious.
They're so good. And like she's like you said, she says them with her whole chest, but not in a mean way, in a very matter-of-fact way.
Like she's just speaking truth. She's just, yeah, if he ate burnt cookies, they're probably not going to give him food poisoning, but not the subtext being, yeah, you just suck as a cook, so he's fine.
You want to know the way she actually says it? She says it in a very autistic manner, because that's autistic girly, where we just say it and people are like, that was really mean. You're like, I'm just telling straight facts. I wasn't meaning to be mean.
No, and it's so good. I love this. This is a mixture of Amy.
Study time we lost fighting evil, but there's no use crying over spoiled milk. Talking to Minako is clearly not going to help you get smarter.
I just love how she's so cute and so like completely out of it. Just a few quick clips that I wanted to show, like that have the great Sailor Mercury energy.
Yeah,
because she does just have those one-liners that make her iconic. I wish the Globe Beach Roost Creep would have been in there.
I'm surprised it's
also
not.
British Ami all the way.
British Ami.
Yeah,
and British Luna.
Okay, I'm with you on Luna. I don't know. Like, I get that Luna is not supposed to be like an older woman, but there's something about her voice in the deep dub that I think is just perfect. And I don't know. She's like this like protector advisor, and I just feel, I don't know. There's something about that voice acting that just feels like very comforting to me in a way. So I don't know. I'm all about original.
It was a mom voice.
Yeah,
it was a mom like mentor voice, and they never got that back when they took away the British Luna.
Right.
No, girl genius. So that kind of defines Ami, Amy, apples and oranges at that point. It defines her throughout the entirety of the series, but I'd say especially in the beginning, and then her character seems to more grow and blossom.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does. She's always like the sort of like the thinker in the group, which is incidentally another reason why I feel like I've always related to her so much, because I feel like she's always the person in the group that's, hey y'all, can we just stop and pause for a second and think and look at what's going on and evaluate before we go running into nonsense. And I feel like I'm often that person, especially like in work type stuff. I'm always the person that's like, hey, can we just stop and think before we go running into walls? And like every group needs that. It's not like a glamorous position to be in, but like that's what she does. And anytime they're doing anything without her, it's very obvious that they need that. Like the rest of them are, I don't know, maybe not with Ray so much, but they're all so impulsive, and we just need to go and we need to do something and we need to fight the thing and we need to save the person and we need to be the heroes and let's just go. But Amy's always, hold up, we can learn from things, we can observe and we can understand, and then we can make a good plan. And I think at a certain point, it's less about her being a genius and more about her just being thoughtful and observant. Being super smart inherently is just a thing you're born with, but like learning to evaluate a situation and learning to look at things and find cues, and like even socially, right? Like you see her over time evolve to understand people better and interpret other people's behavior and pick up on signs and vibes and things that like you wouldn't have thought she'd be able to do in the beginning. And yeah, I think that all comes out as a result of her suddenly being social and having friends and having people to interact with. I feel like that's a lot of her growth arc, is I'm not just this one person who all I do is study and take tests. I'm a person who can learn from other people, and then I can understand other people better.
Yeah, because do you remember the episode? I know this is a super specific episode. I happen to just rewatch it because we're rewatching all of the dub. Ami goes to chess tower, and it's with the little old man, and do you want to play chess? And she's telling him all about the new friends she's made and about how happy she is. And it's like the cutest little moment where she's, I made it, I have friends. And it's like the sweetest moment.
Gets me right here.
Oh my god, Loki coming in saying Ami is the group's impulse control to a point.
No, she totally is.
She has her teenage moments.
Yeah, they all do, right? Like they're all kids, realistically. Like, they're preteens when this thing starts. So, well, wait, are they? How old are they in the beginning? I forget.
14.
14,
right?
So I lie. So they're teens, but they're still like, they're kids, right? So they're still learning about the world, and there's so many times where she does something that is just so obviously like inexperienced and immature. But a lot of that I really think is social. Like when she's in these situations where they have to get things done, where they have to solve a problem, where they have to fight, like she's absolutely the impulse control. She's the don't just go running into the dark room. Let's wait and can we see anything that'll help us understand what's in that dark room?
Yeah. No, like you're right. She is so vital to the team for that aspect. Oh, yeah. We're going to get into this, Wildcat Diana. Don't worry. But I want to read your comment. It also makes sense when you realize she's been neglected by both of her parents. Her father left when she was a kid, and even though her mom cares for her, mom is often at the hospital. She has to take care of herself and be smart on the world.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then something else I wanted to talk about is the way she was portrayed by her voice actor. So, did you know that Melvin wrote a book?
Did not.
Yeah, so Roland Parliament wrote a book called Sailor Moon Reflections, the inside story of the original recording of the English version of Sailor Moon. I recently read it. Fantastic book, but I want to talk about the Karen Bernstein section, which is Sailor Mercury. It says, Karen Bernstein is the mysterious member of the cast. She is a private person and very reluctant to appear at conventions or other events. Nonetheless, here's her submission to the book. Being cast as Sailor Mercury and Sailor Moon still resonates as one of the highlights of my life. It was such a fun series to be in and was groundbreaking in its own way. I don't think there's been a girl superhero animation series before, and I know we all felt honored and proud of being among the first representations of girl power. And the overwhelming response to it was amazing. Even all these years later, when it comes up in conventions, I am struck by what an impact it had on people. I loved being Sailor Mercury. All the scouts had unique and individual characteristics and traits, which made them all so interesting and believable. But I, of course, have a soft spot for the brainy bookworm that is Amy. I had to find a specific voice for her that was different from me from Katie Griffin, who played Mars. Our young voices sounded quite similar at first, so we really needed to distinguish which one was which. I figured because Amy was so erudite and intelligent, her favorite reading material was probably the encyclopedia and dictionary. So not only would she have a vast vocabulary, she would be very precise in her grammar and pronunciations. I therefore should decided she would be extremely articulate and almost formal sounding in her delivery. But I also wanted her to be a typical teen, so I incorporated a bit of upward inflection in her voice. But the best, of course, was being in the studio and getting to wail at the top of my lungs, Mercury Bubbles Blast. How great to find crime with bubbles. And that's the excerpt.
That's adorable.
That's very sweet.
I love hearing from the actual voice actors how much they loved their characters.
I love that. How great to fight crime with bubbles. It's a great line.
Best view.
That's so cute.
It's so cute. All right, so let's talk a little bit about her characteristics. So she's definitely the shyest out of all 10 scouts. But I do think that her shyness gets misinterpreted as almost arrogance sometimes because she is so intelligent. We see that a lot in her opening episode, but then we don't really see it ever come up again. But it seems like to the outside world, it's like in the chess tournament, she had a similar where everybody's, who's that? Until Usagi's there with her fans being like, go Amy, go. And then they're like, oh, okay, she's cool.
That's the thing. She spent so much time being alone just because, and you don't really know right before that first episode, before you first meet her, that like where that isolation comes from. Did she do it to herself, or were people just not nice to her? Why was she alone a lot? But we just know that she was, and because she's successful, right? She does really good at school, and she's always got the top test scores and everything. Everybody created this definition of her as being stuck up, and because she's smart, because she's good at things, and because she's quiet, like she doesn't really socialize, she doesn't talk to anybody, therefore she's arrogant, therefore she thinks she's better than everybody, and in reality she just doesn't know how to talk to people. And I would imagine she probably felt that feeling from people, right? Like she probably felt that everybody was looking at her and thinking, oh, she thinks she's better than us, and that probably made it even harder for her to talk to anybody. So it was probably one of those like self-continuing
Fulfilling
cycles.
prophecy.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks. I couldn't get the words.
I got it. As soon as you started the first, I was
Ugh.
like, I got you.
Yeah, but like that exactly, right? Like however it started, like it's just a thing that kind of kept feeding itself. And then as soon as she made a friend, and a friend like who's Usagi, who is loud and boisterous and has no shame about anything really, and is very effusive with her friend, it makes sense that the people around her would then suddenly be like, oh, maybe she's not so bad. Usagi likes her. Something must be good.
Yes, and Usagi pulls her into some of the funniest situations that in Ami's mind she would never have gotten into.
100%.
Sometimes you need those friends.
You need to get in trouble friends.
Sometimes.
As long as the homework gets done.
But see, the
that's all
get in
he really
trouble
cared about.
friend, the get in trouble friend needs the get a grip friend, needs the get your shit together friend. So that's why that works. They fulfill each other's needs that way.
Usagi also was just, she opened up her arms essentially, because it shows that Usagi is popular among her class. It shows it more like right in the beginning of the manga. They don't really touch on the school as the manga goes on, but Usagi's surrounded by like a huge group of girls in the beginning. So it's, I think Usagi's opinion was very highly coveted about with the people in the class. They're like, if Usagi likes her, she can't be that too cold-hearted of a bitch. Maybe she just doesn't want to talk. But then Ami starts talking a lot more because Usagi's, go on, you got this. I'm right behind you. I'm here. And you also see that in some of the later episodes, like when Usagi is struggling, or which one was it where Usagi disappears and the scouts are thinking about her? I forget which one it is. But Usagi's not there, but they're trying to help her. And they're remembering like the things Usagi did for them. And for Ami, it was Usagi just being there for her. I cannot remember which one it is, but I remember Ami having a flash of what Usagi has done for her since the beginning.
There was a scene like that in the R movie when they're like on the whatever the hell it is that they're on, and like she's got the moonstick and she's trying to get the thing under control, and all of her friends are behind her and they're all remembering this is why Usagi is important to us, and they all have that like teary moment of, oh yeah, she's our best friend, we have to help her. And like that, Amy was definitely like just that moment of she accepts me regardless of anything else. Yeah, like she's my friend. That was almost enough that this really just loving, happy person was like, yeah, we're friends. It's cool. Like that meant a lot to her.
And it was, we're friends. That's it.
Right.
Can I call you in the Japanese and Crystal, it's, can I call you Ami? Can I call you Ami-chan and not her last name? Like instantly. And Ami was like, does that mean I can call you Usagi-chan? It's really cute because you can tell that she has never had someone to call their name with Chan before, because of how just like it was a little bit excited, like that little introvert excited there. She's like, really? And I feel that this is why, and I think we're supposed to get into this later with friendship. So I don't know if you want me to talk about it now, because I'm already like in the subject.
If you go for it.
I think one of the things is it's very subtle. You have to catch it in the series, but they're all friends. But let's be honest, Ami is Usagi's best friend. I feel she's always willing to look to Ami. Like she talks to the other girls, but it's Ami who she's like, hey, help. And she's super close with her compared to everybody else. And it's not just because she's the first scout. I think it's because Usagi really sees that Ami needed her to be that friend. But Ami also accepts Usagi for who she is. While she's, hey, Usagi, no, let's do this. She's never super critical of Usagi, and she doesn't downplay Usagi's emotions for things. She's always willing to listen. The whole thing with Mamoru, when Mamoru is taken by Beryl, and everyone's basically, girl, you need to get the fuck over yourself. Ami's a little bit more open about it. She's, hey, we'll see what we can do. She's more willing to be like, maybe we can do something. and isn't just essentially brushing it off. Like the other scouts are nice little pat on the back. You'll be fine, Usagi. Maybe you should just let it go. Where Ami's, no, that's not the way this works. And I've always liked that dynamic between her and Usagi. You also see when she's fighting Beryl. And I like the Deke one a little bit better when she has the flashbacks with the scouts. I love Ami's line where I forget what she's like, don't leave us out. We're here for you. We'll be mad at you if you leave us out. And she's the first one who comes to mind out of the scouts. And I've always, like I said, Usagi's my favorite because I connect with her because I'm a big fat crybaby. But Ami has always had a spot because even though I'm a crybaby, I'm sometimes the Ami friend because I'm the bookworm. I'm the one who, if someone's like saying something, I'll be like, hold on, let's fucking Google that before we think it's fact. And I try to think things out. So I did have like my Sailor Mercury doll was definitely a lot more played with because I played with her and the Usagi doll. And I understood, even though, like I said, I connected with Usagi, I was the Ami in the class. I am autistic now that I know. So I understand why I was. So it gives me a little bit better of where she was coming from with certain things. I was left out. I unfortunately did not have an Usagi friend. I had to do my mimicry for autism and become more of an Usagi and step out of my Amy mentality for it. And I know that's why a lot more girlies are speaking up about Ami and saying, actually, she was my favorite because they connect with her because everyone's, yeah, I'm finding out I'm autistic. And I was like, that's why you connected with Ami. Because you had your books and Ami does start almost mimicking the girls. Like she starts mimicking the group. Usagi a little, like she starts the outgoingness of Usagi is what she starts trying to hold on to keep doing that and not just close in. What I think of like when it comes to her personalities with Usagi, especially when it comes to everything and the friendship of that.
And that is a beautiful friendship.
I agree with the logic of a Google search. Can we Google search that? Wait, hold on. I don't think that's fact. Or if someone's in an argument with me, I like hold up a hand. I'm like, hold on. Nope. Shh. We're going to Google search this because I guarantee I'm right. And I'd like to Google that I'm right. Thank you.
All right. Do we want to get into friendship with Ami since we opened the door for us?
Sure.
You mean I kicked down the door? I definitely kicked down that door.
Yeah, that is one of Ami's first defining traits when we first see her is the fact that she doesn't have friends. And it's more understandable when you do find out about her absent family and the fact that she just doesn't quite fit in with the other kids. We'll see in a good clip coming up later about how Ami, even as a elementary school kid, had a hard time connecting with her peers because she wanted to go to cram school, which she really enjoyed, and they were playing basketball.
I just watched that episode the other day and I was like, I didn't remember that clip at all. And I was like, oh, little Amy, it started so young.
I know, the poor sweet baby. Oh my gosh. But Usagi is definitely her first Senshi friend. Now, okay, you guys want to hear a random theory
Please.
I heard? Did you realize that Sailor Moon and Mercury both wear the same boots? Because Usagi first met Mercury the way Chibiusa first met Pluto, and they're the only four that wear boots.
Interesting.
It was just a random ass theory I heard.
I've always wondered why they're the only ones who are. It's funny because also Ami and Usagi are the only ones who wear the same school uniform.
That's
Because
true.
for the Volk stalls for that one uniform have Ami and Usagi on them because they're the only ones who wear that uniform. Fun fact.
Doesn't Minako wear the same one? No?
Not until high
Yeah,
school.
not until high school.
Never
No, she
noticed
goes
that.
to a different school.
She ties it almost like in a sash around her neck. It's not a bow.
Huh. See, I never
And
noticed that.
Makoto wears her old school uniform because Juban doesn't have a uniform that is big enough for her.
I always,
So stupid.
Rei and Makoto being different always made sense to me, but I never noticed that Minako's was different also. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's more of an ascot tie than a bow.
Huh.
It's like her Sailor V bow. And then in the comments, this I wanted to show Lady Chapel Cosplay says she's different, but she's perfect in our eyes. Absolutely.
100%.
And then Wildcat Diana coming in saying, also bullying for being smart is more common than people talk about.
Sure
The
is.
other kids avoid her. You have the scene of Naru making fun
Mhm.
of her. Yeah.
Because being
girls love
smart is
that.
being different, and kids suck, right? Like
Dude,
teenagers
kids
suck.
are
Yep.
so fucking mean.
Oh, they're awful. And the minute you don't fit into whatever the common denominator is, that's something to be made fun of. Even if as an older person, as a person who understands the world, you realize that these things that make people different are good and beneficial and helpful. Like if you are different in any way, you're going to get made fun of. So for sure, anybody that does really well in school, even though in theory, like that's a good thing, it's like, again, like, you nerd, like what's wrong with you? Don't you do anything but read? Like, it, especially back then when being nerdy was uncool. Like, it's a little more acceptable now to be nerdy in certain ways. There's still there's unspoken rules about these things, but especially back in the 90s, like, to be the smart kid was very much to be uncool, and it was very much a way to make yourself a target. And like, I had friends in school that, like, I would, like I said, like, I was like the overachiever, but I had friends in school who were legit smart, like way smarter than me. Like, these are kids who like tutored me after school, and they got it hard from the normal normies, and for no reason other than that they liked to learn and we're good at it. And Amy for sure is that person, right? She genuinely loves to learn. Like Selene, you said, like, she wanted to go to cram school. Like, she wanted she wants to study. She wants to do well in her exams. She wants to do something like be a freaking doctor, which means going to school for half your life. Like, that
Mhm.
is fun for her. That's fulfilling to her. And to anyone who doesn't understand that, it means you're weird. And if that also means that you'd rather do that than hang out, you'd rather do that than play basketball, you'd rather do that than go to the arcade, you'd rather do that than go to a concert, what's wrong with you? Like, that was so common, and probably still is, realistically. With, I don't know what high school kids are like anymore. I don't think I want to know. I think I would not survive high school if I was in it now. But back in the day, that was not cool. And you were absolutely a target. And that meant you didn't have friends unless those friends were also like you. So, like, her being friends with someone like Usagi, like Celine, you said, she was a popular kid. And them becoming, I think you're right. Like, I never really thought about it that way, but them becoming effectively best friends is like the stamp of approval. It's someone who is recognized and like accepted, is, hey, she's cool, she's with me. You're like, all
Don't
right.
touch her. It's mine.
I think that's absolutely true. And I think the idea of them being like these like real truly best friends is, I think that's really true. And I never really thought about it that way before, but like, when you look at their relationship over time, the number of times that Usagi just goes to her for advice or just to vent or just, hey, this thing happened and I don't know what to do about it. She's the one I think she inherently goes to more often than not. And that's like such a sign of trust and like recognition of, again, like Amy's the get a grip friend. She's the one who will listen and will understand and will give good advice and will respect your feelings. You're right about that too. Like, she, with all of them, I feel like Amy never diminished how anybody felt.
No,
Like,
never.
like, she was the one who encouraged people to stop and think, but she never used that as a way to invalidate someone being upset or being scared or whatever. And like, that's so rare, I think.
I agree. No, as a character, she's very unique.
And I think because we also have to think, because you mentioned people being bullied in school, we also have to think of the time that this came out,
Mhm.
what shows were on TV in the 90s. And unfortunately, Lady Chapel said in the 90s, even the early 2000s, it was, they try to not to do it as much, but it's still there. Who's the kid being bullied? It is the smart kid.
Yep.
At all times, or it's the theater kid that are getting bullied. And that was perpetuated a lot more in shows. It was actually like, I've tried watching some of the shows that I used to watch in the mid to late 90s and like the early 2000s, and I actually felt ill with the amount of bullying that was in these shows. I was like, the problem is because it was being shown in media, people thought that they could do it themselves in real life. And as someone who experienced it severely, and I understand it a lot more now that I know that I'm autistic. I know why I was singled out of the herd essentially, and why I was the easy target. It's because I wouldn't mimic properly enough, and they would realize the mimicry wasn't working. And I experienced a lot of that stuff. So I understand like them talking shit about Ami, because you have the girls talking shit and Usagi being like, yeah, she's hesitant to actually like shit talk on Ami. She's with that crowd, and then she actually meets Ami and she's, wait, bitch, you're cool. We good. Actually, you're my best friend now. If anybody touches her, you answer to me. And I really wish, like I said, I wish I had someone who had been like that for me. And I like what I was mentioning before is that is why Usagi is Ami's best friend. Like the girls are all friends, but Usagi is Ami's best friend because
Absolutely.
Usagi is the one who would not allow anybody to shit talk her. She was like, no, you don't get to say that about her. She's my friend. Don't touch her. I'm just like, I'm remembering all the stuff that happened like in the 90s, especially when this was happening. Even in Japanese media, it was there too. It was mainly males, not the female nerds getting touched because they wanted women to be studious. But it was like, it was the Melvin or or Umino, as we call him in Japanese. It was the glasses wearing, like, actually pushing up your glasses. And that's how they used to talk in like the English media. That's how they would talk. And it's like, they don't actually, not all of them actually sound like that, but okay. Like I said, it's media, unfortunately, influenced so much. And now girls are like, wait a minute. Whoa, hold on. You know what? I'm gonna be the book nerd. Is it gonna be smut? Yes, but I'm still fucking reading and burying myself in a book. And that's being embraced a lot more now. I feel like we have a lot more Amis out there than we used to, because girls are like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to be nerdy. I'm going to love all my nerdy shit. I'm going to read my books. I'm going to like my nature documentaries and watch them like crazy. And I'm going to be an introvert and stay inside and be with my books. Me right now. I'm like, you got to go outside to make friends. And I'm like, wow, how about on Twitch? Does that count? No, you're still an introvert. And I was like, fuck, it's fine. Whoa, nature documentaries are cool. Okay.
Yeah, they are. They sure are.
Okay.
No, and then Wildcat Diana coming in saying there's an episode where the kids think Ami cheated on a test and the bullying gets so bad that Ami has what the writers could understand at the time of being an anxiety attack. I love that yes, the Japanese creators aren't perfect, but they can get in those moments in there.
Trying to remember that episode.
I was gonna say I don't remember that episode, and now I feel like I need to go and look at it because that's so real. Like that is absolutely an experience that someone like her would have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, just because like she's so good and so wholesome and so
It's an
like
R.
a good being. Like it's an R. It's an emerald.
Okay.
Oh, that's why.
We love
It's
an
an emerald. That bitch.
episode. So yes, okay, gonna find that.
I must not have seen it yet, but
The Onessa fucking laugh.
the Dorito laugh that Emerald has is my favorite thing because she goes full Dorito every time. She should be Nutella.
We have a lot of comments that we should probably scroll down and look at.
Also said it only takes one person to see someone's potential, and that's so spot on. And I feel like that is like the entire theme of Sailor Moon. That is what the whole show is about. It's like, now we're getting maybe beyond the scope of what we're talking about here, but I think that
that's fine.
I think that all the time, that like the whole, like every single person in Sailor Moon is just lonely, and Usagi is the one to like see them all, even the villains. Like she finds the way to see them and give them an opportunity to just be themselves and be accepted for being themselves. I feel like that to me, that's like what the show is all about. It's just this collection of lonely, isolated people that are brought together and allowed to just be because Usagi sees them and loves them because of who they are. And like Amy was like the first example of that, like in a very simple, relatable way. Like she was alone and she was isolated and she was lonely, and Usagi was just like, I don't care about any of that. She's nice.
You're my friend now.
Right. Beep. She's smart, but that's cool. Like her being smart will help me. Like maybe she'll tutor me. But like she's just, you're all right. Who cares? This is fine. And we're friends now. And that was like all it took for Amy to suddenly be like, okay, I can be someone's friend. And if I'm someone's friend, then I can maybe do other things that are hard and scary. And I can be a soldier and I can fight and I can help other people. And that really is all it takes, is that one person to look at you and be like, you're good. And that's what Usagi does for everybody.
I like the cuddle scene in Crystal with Luna, and then Usagi's right across and watching it happen. I'm like, stop, you guys are so fucking cute. It was really cute. That's one of my favorite, like, at meeting her, and that's what Usagi's like, I'm gonna call you Ami-chan. And Ami's then I get to call you Usagi-chan. And you're like, stop, you guys are adorable.
That's a good point, though. Like that whole, just that one introduction scene of Amy meeting Luna and how she handles that situation, and Usagi seeing that and being like, she's being nice to my cat. She's cool.
We're best friends now.
Right? That's so pure and innocent and in such a lovely way.
There was someone who, it was a couple comments down.
Let's see. Smut. Yes. Got it.
Oh my God, I didn't realize this was tonight's topic. Ami is not weak. Also, Smut is amazing. No shame. Also, you know for a fact that adult Ami reads the fuck out of Smut. I'm sorry.
Yes.
That woman's got a collection as big as mine, because fictional men are better than actual men. I will not take that back. You can quote me on it, because fictional men written by women, all we want is for you to fucking listen. Go read a fucking book where men are written by women, guys. It's lit. Do you want to know what it is? Do you want to know what attracts us? The men listen. That's it. Why do you think Mamoru, Mamoru's so pathetic in the manga? Because he listens to Usagi and worship the ground she walks on. That man would crawl over glass, okay? On his hands and knees over glass to get to her. He legit almost does it in the fucking series, okay? That's it. And that's why now it goes, I like my men pathetic. So I'm going to write all of my males pathetic.
And she proceeded to make millions.
And then she made billions. She's a millionaire, but like at this point, if Toei had actually done things correctly, she'd be a billionaire. Fictional men are the best. That's why Ami deserves a man who is written by a woman.
All right, other comment I wanted to highlight. Hey, Rizuki! Rizuki says, for the lols, Ami has non-wholesome moments she lets slip out, like when she calls Usagi impure in stars because she thinks Usagi did something scandalous with Seiya in her house with her parents away.
Ami's mind went right into the fucking gutter. She was like, bro, you womp-womped with him. And Usagi's, I'm sorry, I did what? And that's how you know Ami is already reading Smut, because Usagi was like, I don't know what you're talking about. What does that mean? Straight up, what's funny is it's like virgin mentality, but I'm like, Usagi's already slept with Mamoru at this point. Not in the anime, but in the manga. And you're like, ma'am, you've already done it. Please stop it.
Oh my God. And then Rizuki also says, except Beryl. Utagi said, no, you mess with me in 2 lifetimes.
I like legitimately was just thinking about this today, that like total sidebar, but every single villain I think in the series gets this like redemption chance except for Beryl. Beryl is just gone. They just explode her. Everybody else gets like a chance to be healed or like a chance to be reborn, or maybe they get turned into sparkles of light, but they have that moment at the end that like, oh, I feel so much better. No, Beryl's just gone. She's just blasted off the face of the planet, and I think she's the only one that they do that to.
Deserves it.
It's hilarious to me. Anyway.
It's true. She's a peasant and deserves it. She started a war just because the guy she had a crush on and didn't even know who she was or existed went with the Moon Princess. She's like, I'm going to start a war of this because I love him. And he's, who the fuck are you? New phone.
But yeah, she needed to go. Like, she needed to go. It's just like, it's funny to me, like, they eventually settled into this arc of there isn't really any true evil. Like, evil can always be fixed, or there's always something redeemable in a person, except for her at the beginning, where it was just like, nope, she's a monster and she needs to die. Like that, it's just like really funny to me. But anywho,
Let's see other comments. Ura says, "I love the PGSM episode where Ami legit reads a book on how to be a
watch
friend."
this show.
She wants to be a better friend to Usagi.
I gotta watch it.
Because I forget what
It's
it was
so
something
good.
going on in school because PGSM actually shows the school a lot more. And it was something about, was it the mixtapes? Like making the friendship tapes, the music tapes?
Oh my
I
God,
think
tell
that's what
me
it
they
was.
were
And
making
Ami,
mixtapes. That's amazing.
Ami makes like a mixtape of
Fun.
because Minako is actually a idol. Minako is an idol in the show in PGSM. She is a huge idol.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's a very big idol, and the girls are fans. And Ami actually borrows Usagi's, I think, tape of Minako, and that's how they connect a lot deeper because they both find that they love Go's music. It's really sweet.
Huh.
Yeah, Minako's actually an idol in PGSM.
It's a great
I
show.
gotta watch it.
We're actually gonna react to it next
Ooh.
on Bishojo Senshi Slumber Party. After we finish the entirety of the Sailor Moon anime, we're gonna react to the PGSM.
Okay, gonna be watching that.
Have Monica and
It'll be fun.
Aurelia actually watched it yet?
No, Monica hasn't.
Genius. Beautiful.
I know.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. Monica is gonna fucking love it.
It's gonna be so
She loves
awesome.
that kind of
All
shit.
right, I know she's gonna be so on board. All right, trying to keep up with the comments. I agree with Ura. Breeds, girl, she is writing it when it comes to smut.
She's got a pen name nobody knows about, and it's everybody's favorite smut novelist. And it's actually Ami, and she's like watching the girls all have the book. All of them have it. They're all doing the like book club, but they all show up with her book, and she's like, shit. Yeah, I love that author.
Amazing.
And she's got to do like an analysis for book club, and she does it a little too detailed. And they're all like, Ami, you know a little bit about these characters that's not in the book. She's like, what?
It's great.
Like, she's got notes because as a writer myself, you have notes about the characters that you never put in the book, but it's how it shapes the character. So it might be like some tragic backstory of them being as a kid, but that's why they react to certain things, but you never put it in the book. And that's the notes that Ami has. And they're like, where did you get this?
How she became, what is it, the Starlight's #1 fan?
Yeah,
or,
she's like
really
number
close to
10 in the
top?
fan club or something. And she's got like the
That's
special
right.
fucking gold card. And all of them are
right.
like,
surprise.
Go off, queen.
What?
Oh my gosh. All right, trying to keep up. Let's see.
oh, she's 25. Thank you, Rizuki.
Still pretty high. For
Yeah,
a girl
but she's got a
who-
special card because she's like one of the first in the fan club.
For a girl who does not like
First
openly talk much about being a big old Three Lights fan, like she's number 25. That's a pretty big deal.
You're impure. You're impure. Yes, I am. Thank you.
And oh my god, in real life, girls who look virginal are the ones who think smut.
Bro, I was
24
reading
reasons.
smut in the 5th grade and I really shouldn't have been because I had Ami-chan's level of fucking reading. I had my hands on books I should not have. Let me tell you. And I was like, what does that mean? And I didn't have Google back then. I had to use a dictionary.
Encyclopedia Britannica for the win.
Yeah. Oh my,
Oh my god.
bro. I just got war flashbacks when you said that.
We had a whole freaking set in my house growing up, so that's how I learned everything. I was like, let me go look
The
this up in
fucking
the
infomercials.
Yeah.
The infomercials to buy them so that you
Yes.
had them at home.
Yep.
I agree with Rizuki. Beryl also needs to go bleach her roots.
Yes.
And let's see. Oh, okay. Ura says it's because we're like 6 episodes in and Ami is still calling Usagi Tsukino-san. And Usagi says it's like we're not really friends yet. And Ami has a crisis.
We're so sad. Thank you everyone for being very talkative tonight. It means a lot to
Yes!
us.
Thank you. I love the cause. Yeah, don't hear me say this as a bad thing. This is a good thing. I just want to make sure we highlight
Honestly, that's
as
the
much
point
as
of
we
this
can.
freaking show. So I'm like, please fucking comment.
Yes.
Do it. I'm telling you right now.
and see more evidence that more people like Ami than maybe are overtly out there. Everybody's got lots to say
I'm
about
gonna
our
go into
little
my nerdy
world.
outfit then. There we go. Now I match the
Ah!
show a little bit more.
Oh my god.
Oh, now you
Wait,
do
why
match the
is that so cute?
show.
I want that sweater.
I can be really cute. Also, my skirt's really cute.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Rizuki is asking, and then or I'll get to your question next. To go back to Ami, have you guys talked about her and Sailor Mercury
On
fighting?
the
You
list.
read my mind, Rizuki. It's on the
It's
list.
on the list. Don't rush.
And then or also asked, are we going to talk about favorite Ami songs tonight?
Ooh. Like from the
Like her theme songs? Or what songs do you mean, Ura?
so like
All right.
I just rewatched today the episode where she was about to leave and go to Germany for doctor school or whatever. And I hadn't seen this in a really long time. And I was watching the Viz new dub, so they were using all the Japanese music. And her like character image song comes on right as she's arriving at the airport, like getting ready to leave. And I don't even remember the name of this song, but I've been listening to it since I was in college, and I didn't know where it came from because back then we couldn't get the Japanese episodes. Like I had like random ass VHSs from fan subbed stores and whatever. So I had the character song CD where this song was on. I never knew the context, and like today I learned the context in the show, and it was just, I'm not gonna lie, like I got very teary because I was like, I love this song, and it came up in this moment where there's this like really important like crossroads for her where she's, am I gonna stay or am I gonna go? What's important to me? And I don't know, it's such a good song. Like it's very like chill and emotional and like really beautifully sung. I'm gonna have to look up what the hell it's called because I feel like this is all random because I have no context for what the song actually sounds like. But it's like her character song is just so good, and the way it's used in the show is just so like emotional and impactful and just ratchets everything up. Like they're so good with music in this show, right? I feel both the dub and the Deke dub and the original series, like the way they use music is just so good. The way it enhances what's happening, and that was like such a perfect example.
Listen, late 90s, early 2000s, fucking animes that were over here in the States, they had such fucking bangers for songs. Like the intros, especially like Cardcaptor Sakura, you got Yu-Gi-Oh, Sailor Moon.
Mhm.
And now I'm like, man, can we have some of those bangers back? Actually, can we where's Deke? Can we bring them back?
Yeah, who's seen Deke?
Has anyone seen Deke? I'm gonna
lately?
need them to enter the building again, please.
Yes, Rizuki. Thank you, Rizuki.
What was like some of them were like, I don't know, they were just better. I actually rewatching the dubs. It's interesting to rewatch them and not have the Deke little music cues anymore. It almost Sailor Moon almost feels silent. I'm always like, why is this so fucking quiet? And it's because Deke had like little music cues for everything, and I really miss those. And they had like certain music cues for different people too. Like Ami had her own little, essentially like melody when something was happening with them. Each scout did. They had like certain just mood setting music for them. There was always something. It was the one piece of music was the do 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 in the background. And then they would go and go to another scene. I'm like, can we have that back, please?
Yeah, that like where they would have those little scrolls.
Little like scene transition fade out.
Yeah, I miss those. I understand the reason why they had those is because they had to fill in time because they would cut certain things out of the episodes. But I'm like, hey, you've got to loop more because you need to match mouth flaps. So give us our stuff back. And give me back my Sailor Moon Says.
Oh, Sailor Moon Says.
I miss
so
Sailor
pure.
Moon Says. It was just great.
Honestly, I lived my life by Sailor Moon Says. That was actually for the cosplay competition for Viz. That was actually one of the things I had because they read a little blurb from you. And that was in my blurb was the things that Sailor Moon Says would say. that really stuck with me as a kid.
That's
Aw.
cute.
It was a lot of, I mean,
love
even
that.
because they had stuff for like the Ami episodes where Usagi would talk about Ami and the lesson that Ami learned in the episode about what true friendship is. And, you know, why Ami was having such a hard time. The bullies were doing stuff they shouldn't. So,
Yeah. All right. If all else fails, I can play a couple of the Sailor Mercury songs that we got sent.
Yes,
While
I
we
love
wait.
listening to music.
Copy
I
tag.
mean, yeah, let's preview a couple of clips. Is there any more comments we need to highlight?
Yeah, let's look through the comments. And yes, thank you, Ura, and thank you, Rizuki, for sending everything. I love that our transformation cue is
Is
an
it
ambulance
really?
noise. Because
I
Doctor.
never noticed that. I'm gonna have to go back
Wait,
and check
what?
that because that's
What, in
wild.
Deke or the Japanese? Hold on.
I did not notice that.
Diana, I'm going to need you to clarify. What?
Like a siren? Because that's wild.
Because it depends. If it's Japanese, that they've got different siren sounds.
That's true.
Now we
So
got
maybe...
all of us fucking scrambling. We're like, wait, what?
Quick, look it up
What
on
do you
YouTube.
mean?
Yeah, I don't know what.
When her symbol starts spinning in the pen.
That's a good question, though. Is it like a Japanese ambulance? Because I
Is
don't
it
think I would know what that
Japanese
sounds like.
or English? Because Japanese, maybe I could understand because they've got like a different kind of wee-woo sound.
Now I'm really curious.
Everyone in chat is like, what? You better find this
Eric,
shit.
you have officially
Quick,
set the chat
Who
on
finds
fire.
YouTube first?
I'm trying to find it. Anybody can find it.
Okay, so it's not.
Oh, hold on. It's the Spanish dub.
Oh, intriguing.
Oh, we're
Wait,
sorry.
that's intriguing, though. Now I'm really
Which
curious.
one, though? Don't dox yourself. But which Spanish version were you listening to? Because different countries had different ones.
I'm so curious now. It's in the
It's in the
The
Japanese,
Japanese too. Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
because it depended on if you were in South America or Spain for watching it, because they would actually keep a lot of the Japanese sounds
I'm
in.
so curious now. Because that would be a heck of a cool little detail. That's wild.
It's always interesting, like what different countries actually kept and what they didn't keep.
Okay, Ura just sent it to me. I'm bringing it up now.
Sweet.
We can play around with the songs and then we gotta take a break.
We got 20 minutes.
Okay. We can do it. I believe in us. Where did
I'm glad someone does.
I got to. I have to.
I believe
Wait.
in us.
Us being on time is
Oh, son of
that's where I'm leaving it.
Okay, let me pause this, make this like this, make this like this. This will all get cut out
Although
in
I was
editing.
on time today. I was early.
Yeah, you were. All right, ready? So
Go
this
ahead.
is Mercury Star Power Makeup.
Oh, I hear it.
I hear it.
So no one else does that?
Question. Check the other scouts though.
Right. Does anyone else do that?
Does anyone else have something different?
I'm not sure.
Because I think maybe they didn't. I think I just always thought that was just like that's the noise it makes. If that's really unique, that's really cool. That's really cool.
Look at us learning new shit.
Right?
This is why we do this.
This is why we run the show. All right, so that one is done. Let me bring up.
You're gonna lurk on your phone because you're gonna go get ice cream. You lucky. I'm jealous.
Really? Everyone has a unique sound effect? Damn, I never noticed that before. Wait, that's really cool.
I've been drinking dumb bitch juice all this time for all these years. I'm sorry, what?
All right, here's another song from her.
Oh, I thought we were gonna listen to the other Scouts wands.
Oh, I don't have
To
it.
see the difference.
I don't got it.
Oh.
We're gonna look that up later.
Yeah, maybe on
I
break
need
I can look
someone
it
to
up.
send Michi the different wands, please. And thank you. I will love you forever.
But this is Sailor Moon Onaji Namida O. Sorry, guys, my Japanese is not that great.
Wake ate.
Sharing the same tears. Thank you, Sailor Moon song. Or Sailor Song.
Yes,
Oh.
this is the one. Oh, I love this one so much. This is the one that comes up in that episode.
Yeah.
For the transformation wand, if you can show it again, apparently we were in ads when that was going on.
Oh, definitely I can.
Are we in ads now? Please double check.
How do I check? I'm sorry, what's Celine?
We are currently in ads.
Okay, so wait.
We're back.
We're back? Okay.
We're back.
Here.
It was the end of ads. I had to put mod mode on. That's all.
Oh, okay.
I
Alright,
didn't realize that Restream doesn't warn you when you're in ads on Twitch.
Not at all.
Wow,
Oh.
that sucks.
My next meeting with Restream, we'll talk about it. But did you want me to replay that one clip real quick?
The transformation one?
Is that what you were asking, Celine?
I think Lady Chapel was asking to show which video would you like us to show again? It might be the song we were just doing.
Yeah, sorry, Lady
Oh.
Chapel. The song?
I think that's her favorite song. Was that your favorite song?
Okay.
Sorry, I have a tab open now so I can see when we're in ads.
Okay. I actually don't think we have time to listen to the whole thing before
That's
Loki gets
okay.
home.
Most of it sounds like that, but
It was
that's
actually the
fine.
transformation.
Okay. Replay the transformation right now.
All right. And then we can listen to the other ones and be like, oh, there actually is different sounds.
That's so funny.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's the transformation with the music that we were talking about.
Yeah, when the cymbals spun, it was a little blue kind of siren.
So interesting.
Gotta love
Never
it.
noticed that.
Nope.
Same.
All right, and then we want to continue on with Ami music? Or do we have time?
Do you want to do the transformation, Guans, really quick so we can hear the differences?
Yeah,
that
do you
won't
have
be
the
as
clip?
long. Did you get sent clips?
Let me
I think
see.
Uda sent them to you.
Oh, let me check. Yep.
You're welcome.
Yep. Should have known.
You did, yeah. When you listen really closely and you're like, oh shit, there it is.
It's so funny when you actually hear it. All right, computer, please be nice to me, even though I have 12 programs open.
It's like my boss with 12 Excel sheets open, and then she wonders why her computer's not running correctly. I'm like, you have 12 Excels open. Stop it. You give me anxiety.
There we go. All right.
Oh, we might want to. There we go. There's the siren.
Interesting.
Okay, what's Mars's?
It's different.
It is.
Oh, it's like a high pitch something.
Almost like a chime or a gong kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense for her.
I'm wondering what that's supposed to be. Maybe an alarm? Hers was a chime.
Yeah.
I feel like hers and Jupiter's actually sounded similar.
Venus didn't have as long as one. Jupiter's was like a.
Do we want to watch the outers?
Let's see if they've got it.
I
Now
love
we got
watching the
theme song.
transformations.
Same.
I'm never gonna explain. My other favorite.
No, they don't because their symbols don't turn. Oh no, there was bubbles.
There was.
I just heard bubbles. It was like. Does that mean
I hear
Uranus?
water. Maybe wind.
Hers was like.
Yeah, she's got a ticking clock, which
Yeah.
she would.
That just fits.
I have never
That was
paid that
so
close attention to that. That was fascinating.
That was
Oh,
great.
Uranus has her world shaking
Okay.
sound.
Which is like one of my
Oh.
favorite attack sounds ever. Like her attack, world shaking, is like the best. Cannot convince me otherwise. It's like my favorite attack.
I will attack you and talk about your multiple apps and programs and Excel sheets, spreadsheets open. Okay? Stop it. That's why your computer is not working. That is why it is slow and you cannot open other programs so that you can teach me things. Because my boss will try and open something. She'll be like, now I'm going to show you this. And then we're like sitting there for 5 minutes. She's like, give it a moment. I was like, shut the 12 Excel sheets. Why do you need all of them? You do not need all of them. And she's like, yes, I do. And I'm like, no, you don't. Put the Excel sheet down, ma'am. Please.
This is one I'm not sure, but I know the last Black Moon, who's been on our show a few times, has been covering different Sailor Moon songs in English. So definitely wanted to plug them, and I'll make sure to link them below. But this is Sailor Moon, Sailor Star, Sailor Mercury single.
I always found it interesting back when these kind of animes were coming out that the voice actors had these CDs.
Yeah,
There was like these songs that they had, like Sesshomaru's voice actor has a really cool character CD. I never understood the character CDs, but it's a Japanese thing. Lady Chapel, what did you learn that you didn't know about? Really quick.
Yeah, this was really cute though.
Comfy says, I miss character songs so much, but anime comes out too fast for music production to keep up with it. It's very true.
That's probably true. Incidentally,
Well-
though, the CD of like character songs that came out with Sailor Moon Crystal is pretty solid. If you haven't heard it, I don't remember, or it probably wasn't. What was the actual name? It probably wasn't actually Sailor Moon Crystal. It was like when the second or third season came out of the remake, they put out a CD of a whole bunch of new songs. They were really good.
Yeah, character CDs, they were very popular for a lot of animes, especially like mid to late 90s, early 2000s. There's character CDs for Sailor Moon. I believe there are character CDs for Cardcaptor Sakura. I own them. I actually have the original CD set where it has all the songs and the character songs in it. Who else? Asha has some really good ones. And all of the voice actors have them, including, I think Jockin's voice actor actually does something on Sesshomaru's CD.
Oh my god.
What are some other good ones? It was mainly like, I want to say more shoujo did the character CDs. And let's be honest, Inuyasha kind of falls more into girls manga than guys manga. What category is that? Because it's not shoujo. I forget the other name.
Shonen?
No, because that's boys manga. That's Dragon Ball Z, Naruto.
No,
because Bleach had character CDs. Bleach had character CDs. Naruto has character CDs. It just depended. I think it depended if the actors could sing, because most Japanese VAs can sing. Not all of them can, mind you. But when they could, they would make character CDs. Seinen, maybe?
That was my first thought.
Inuyasha is in shonen or animanga for boys.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Interesting, even though it's meant for the ladies' eyes. That's why it was drawn the way it was, especially Lord Sesshomaru, my husband.
All right, do we want to listen to, we have a couple more songs, but we can listen to this last one for a minute?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so this is My Amor, My Love, in other words, from Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, the live action. So before we began, we were, do we have merch available? You know what's funny? We've never made merch. Lady Chapel was asking.
Perhaps you should.
I mean, you'd have to, as long as we own the rights to our logo, you could print stickers of the logo.
That's true. I could print stickers because we have our beautiful logo, which was done by No Flutter.
Oh, No Flutter made your logo? No wonder it's so pretty.
Yeah, Jen's really awesome. So we could possibly do, because we have 3 versions of the moon. We have the original season, the 3rd season, and the 4th season all have their own logos. We've been doing this a long time.
You'd have to ask Jen if we own the rights to it to be able to make merch of it.
Yeah, or if not, what do I need to do? But yeah, so anyway, that's a long tangent on, we will get back to you on merch.
I was about to say, I just made merch and I was like very excited about it. I did it with my logo. It's pretty.
Yes, your merch is so cute. If anybody is into
excited.
VTuber merch, you should definitely check out Selene's.
I would love No Flutter to make something for me, but she is not taking commissions.
Yeah. So, do we want to finish listening to the last, like a minute of the last 2 songs that Ura sent us?
Sure. I'm good.
Okay, so this is A Touch of Rain, which was Sailor Moon Crystal. So it seems like a very like slow tempo, but like upbeat song.
It's very pretty. I haven't heard that one. I don't
No?
think I even knew that CD existed, and I just went and looked for it on Spotify, and it's there. So I'm definitely gonna give that a listen.
Heck yeah. No, that was really pretty. And then the last one is another PGSM. So it's Chisaki Hama Yuku Promise, English translation. And this is from Miss Tsukino Usagi. Oh, this is cute. That was really cute. PGSM had some bangers. So those were all of her character songs from different places. Thank you again to our wonderful audience. I love you for sending us those. Just making sure I got them all for resources.
There is definitely one more, and I had to look it up because I couldn't remember, but it was the Sailor Moon Eternal movie in the remake arc.
Oh,
They put out they put out a whole CD of new character songs, and it had, I don't know how to say it, Momoiro Clover, the ones that redid the opening and that did Moon Pride. They re-recorded a couple of the classic songs. Like they re-recorded like Tuxedo Mask's original Image song. There were a couple that they re-recorded, and then there was a whole bunch of new character songs, and it's a really solid CD. Definitely, again, it's on Spotify. Like, definitely recommend listening to it if you haven't heard it. There's like good stuff on there. There's a really fun song for the Amazoness quartet that was just surprisingly good and cute, and just, I don't know, it's a good CD. Go find it. It's fun.
No, I'm gonna definitely go listen to it after we're off here, because I'm always up for more Sailor Moon music. Sailor Moon music since its Geek days has been beautiful.
That
True.
that would be an awesome episode, not for nothing, but like a whole talk about Sailor Moon music. There is so much out there. Like,
Oh my
I love
god.
it.
You know what? That's a good idea for a topic. All right. So then what we want to talk about next is my favorite scene of Mercury, which is her relationship with Uranus and how Haruka is a big baby. And I just love it so much because I love these two characters together. And I love that Sailor Moon decided to split off these two characters together.
I can't keep up.
Oh, little Amy.
Hey, Ami, going home already? Stay a little bit longer and practice basketball with us. We've got to get good for the tournament, right? She can't stay. Ami goes to a lot of cram schools every day, and she's way too busy to waste time playing basketball. Whoa. Sorry, we didn't know. Maybe next year.
Like, poor Ami.
Like, she didn't even say it. Like, the other kids were like, oh no, she doesn't have time for this. It makes you wonder, did she actually really want to go and do that, or did everyone just assume that she wanted to do it? No wonder she felt isolated.
I know. Like, she tried, like, that's the thing. She looked genuinely bright and excited that they asked her to play.
Right.
Oh, and this is the second half of the clip.
First, there's something I need to confirm.
It's that look. That disgusting look of determination. Don't you dare look at me with those eyes!
What is she doing? Why isn't she fighting back? You need to fight, Sailor Mercury! How can you call yourself a Sailor Guardian if you don't?
I know, but I don't have all the data just yet.
What?
Okay, guys, put on defensive pressure. Nice cut. Now pass the ball and shoot. Yeah, and it's all thanks to the game plan Ami came.
Stop it, I'm gonna cry.
It's all I'm good at. It may not be much, but it's my way of fighting. Uranus!
I can't hold out that long, so make it quick!
I just love her in this episode. Like, just Nehelinya acknowledges her. And Nehelinya acknowledges the determination in her eyes. Just I'm so happy with that clip. I just love that moment that is the moment I felt for Mercury, where I was like, you do you, and you do you in your own way, and it's epic.
And it matters, and it's important, and it works. Like, you need that. Her skills and her strengths are so important.
As Sailor Denzel says, it's my way of fighting is so good. Because that's the thing. She doesn't think she's contributing. She doesn't think she's adding any value when she's actually adding some of the biggest value to the entirety of the entire series.
And I think like that's such a good message, right? Because it's saying that you don't have to approach every problem like other people would, right? Like you have to handle things and figure things out and deal with things in the way that works for you, in the way that you can be successful. And what that looks like for you is not necessarily what it looks like for other people. And that's okay. All of the other, like every other Senshi on the team, they all are very offensive, attack oriented, like I guess with the exception of Sailor Moon, right? Like her whole thing is healing. But
yeah,
they all of them are like, we're here to fight. We're here to attack. We're here to do damage. And Sailor Mercury is there to learn and to defend and to make things easier for everyone else on the team by obscuring things, by hiding things, by slowing people down. Like if you are into things like D&D or like high fantasy, and those like party members are so important. They're the people that allow all of the aggressors and the attackers to do their job. And like in other environments, like those people are so valued, but for some reason in this kind of like anime environment, like again, like it's seen as weak, right? Because you're not doing a lot of damage, but she's allowing everybody else to do their job better than they could on their own. Yes. And like her having that moment of acknowledging like, all right, I'm not strong per se, but this is how I can help. This is how I can make sure that my teammates can succeed and deal with this thing in front of them. That's what I can do, and that matters. That's such an important lesson for people to see, I think.
I agree. Like it's her heart. It's at the end of the day, it's Ami's heart that is the thing that we love so much about her. And the fact that Uranus, because we have to admit, I love Uranus so much, but she can be a blockhead. Straight up.
She's a stubborn bitch. Let's be honest. She can be a stubborn bitch.
And the fact that she understood that Ami was fighting, that it wasn't that she was just playing on her computer, that she was doing her form of fighting, and Uranus acknowledges that as I'm brute force, so let me protect you. And like, just no notes.
Like she's
Uranus
the tank.
The tank while Mercury is the healer.
Yes, see? D&D. Like it's funny if you put this whole like dynamic into that kind of like really stereotypical like fantasy battle mechanic thing, because it totally works. Like Uranus is absolutely a tank in that situation. She's there to absorb the damage and let the person who can strategize and figure out the attack plan do their job. That's why that works.
Yep. You need everybody. That is what Sailor Moon is, a well-divided team of individuals.
100%.
So something I wanted to talk about, Ami actually has a really cute friendship with Luna.
Yes.
Like, yes, I love that those two will sit to the side and be like, what the fuck are they doing?
They're the tired mom friends.
They're the tired mom friends.
Ami's the mom friend of the group. And then Luna's also like the mentor, guiding light, like crone, essentially. And they're both just fucking tired. They're the tired moms that need like a glass of wine. At that point, they're just like, what do? Do we just let them do it? I guess we this shit.
No, but they're cute. And like when Luna goes through a hard time, of course, she leans on Usagi. But I also noticed that Luna tends to pair off with Mercury a lot.
Yeah.
Mercury's always holding her.
Well, and because Amy was like the first other guardian to awaken. Like she was the only other person for a while that Luna had to talk to and mentor besides Usagi. And Usagi
Yeah.
was such a freaking disaster that I feel
Yeah.
like when Amy showed up, she was like, oh my God, a competent person. Like, you are who I was looking for. Where the hell have you been? Like,
Luna sighed a breath of relief. She was like, "Oh, thank fuck."
she was like, oh my God, you're here. Do not ever leave me. I feel like for that brief time, and even honestly, even after Ray showed up, of the rest of the Guardians, like I feel like Ray is the other one who has like a level head on her shoulders some of the time.
A
But,
level
like,
hothead.
yeah, but like the rest of them can be so just all over the place, and Amy is just so like steady and thoughtful and mature that I feel like Luna is just, please help me. Like, I need you, please help me. They so clearly connect that way, and that they're both like, we have a responsibility, we have stuff to get done, we are dealing with actual children. Like, we need to figure out how to make everybody just get on the same path and do what they need to do. And there was such like this weird understanding between them. Not weird, but like immediate. And I also
Yeah.
think that like Amy being so kind to her right from the beginning must have made an impression, right? Like I guess Usagi was too, but I feel like there must have been something about Luna just dropping out of the sky and Amy being just, oh, hello, little friend. How cute are you? Again, like that immediate acceptance. And I think Luna probably knew right away that this is a person who's going to be steady and open and thoughtful. And this is who I need to keep the rest of these jokers in line. And I don't think that ever changed through the entire series. Amy was the one to keep people in line. And I think that started so early, like that foundational like connection had to be really strong.
I agree. No, and then that kind of bleeds into another point that I wanted to talk about. Amy is friends with all older people, especially like older grandparent figures.
Yeah.
Like, think about it.
It's
There's
schism.
the gardener in the first season who wants to
Mhm.
protect the forest that's being torn down. There's the old chess man from our season where she becomes friends with him. Who else? You were talking about like that there were like Ami with older men, like for some reason, but it's not like in a creepy way. It's like in a grandpa way where they're
Right.
like, small child, you are a good bean.
Here's someone who
You
appreciates my ancient wisdom.
exactly. That's exactly the vibe. And I don't know, I just love that about her because I was also that kid who was friends with like all of the grandparents. I don't know. I just thought it was always so funny.
It just goes along with her whole vibe of just being open to knowledge, right? I think to a certain extent, like respect for your elders goes along with that.
Yeah.
Because these are people you can learn from. They're people who have experience. They're people that can bring a different perspective. And that's clearly what she wants. Like, she wants to learn. She wants to understand more. And these people can give that to her. And I also think it's just she's inherently such a kind person that she's just kind to people in general. And I think older folks often don't have people see them as people. And she does that because she's just kind and she sees things and she sees people for who they are and she doesn't judge based on who they are. Usagi's that too, but I think Usagi is so young so much of the time. There's a little bit of an older soul, I think, in Amy that lets her interact with older people in a different way. And like those relationships always feel just like perfectly natural to me. Like, of course she's friends with the older gardener. Of course she's friends with the old chess guy. Like, who else would be? Like, it totally makes sense.
It does. And oh my god, Wildcat Diana killed me over here. Ami is the kid that makes older people say, kids are our hope for the future, while Usagi and Minako are the kids these days.
Yep, absolutely.
It's just a fun friendship.
She also just has essentially doctor bedside manner.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
But that also, I just was realizing, I was like, Mercury. What Greek god is Mercury? Hermes. Which is, he does medical stuff. Like his snakes are the symbol for medical. I was just thinking about that. I was like, oh shit.
True.
It makes sense why she wants to be a doctor. it makes sense with Mercury.
And these are all reasons why you can totally see her being a doctor. Makes total sense.
But I was like thinking, I was like, light bulb. That's what happened. I was like, oh. I was like, wait a minute. Mercury is Hermes, the messenger.
Oh, see, the messenger thing is interesting too, though.
Carries the messages of the gods.
So, you know, her as the person who's always like looking for and evaluating information about things and like communicating that to the rest of the team. That's an interesting angle. Makes total sense.
It really does. And yeah, I like what Lady Chapel Cosplay says. Grandparents have knowledge that come from the changing of world society.
For sure. And I feel like she would, respect that and be interested in that. Like, I could just imagine her as if she was a real person. Like, she would 100% want to talk to everybody's grandparents and be like, what was life like for you? What did you do when you were younger? What can I learn from you? I could 100% picture her being that person.
Same.
She'd psychoanalyze it so quick, though. She'd be like, ooh, I think you need therapy.
I get to see
like,
5-year-old her.
Yep.
She'd be like, ooh, see a body doctor, not a mind doctor. You need some therapy, sir, ma'am.
Let's talk about Ami's family.
What family?
She has a mother that loves her. There is the cookie scene. The cookie scene from the 3rd movie.
Someone can always be there. That doesn't mean.
I know, because like it killed me in my soul. Okay, so Erica, I haven't told you this, but I actually had like childhood like upsetness at the Mercury Are You Going to Germany episode, because as a child I thought she was actually leaving, and I was like, how could you break up the band? How could you get rid of them? I was like so upset. I was like, you're leaving? How dare you? And so like when she's just like about to go and not even her mother is there to see her off, I'm like, who are
that's
you?
rough. That's rough. And
I also find it a little ridiculous because they make it so extreme with her mom not being there as a doctor. I'm like, I'm sorry, but it's not that extreme. Like, doctors do come home, they have days off, like they have times that they cannot be in the hospital legally. And I'm just like, it feels like her mother is choosing to be away, to be honest, to not be like her mom shows up every once in a while, but it's not enough that I'm just like, where are you when you're supposed to be having your days off, ma'am?
Do you think
why aren't you home with your daughter?
With their dad?
And then her dad's just, he's a wandering soul. He's got to paint. Oh, okay.
So this is like perfect example of why I related to Amy so much, because I was like so determined to be prepared for this tonight that I went and I looked up stuff in my manga and whatever. But so I guess this would have been the Super S arc. I get lost in the difference between the manga and the anime, and I like judge everything by the anime arcs. But like in the anime, it would have been the episode where she has this encounter with the circus and they show her this nightmare vision of her parents not being proud of her and whatever. But in the manga, there's this scene where she's at home and her mom comes home really late and she's like, what are you doing up? Did I make you dinner? And Amy's like, oh no, I already fed myself. I'm fine. And her mom actually has this scene where she shows some guilt about the fact that she's always gone. Like she says, you're so like mature and level-headed, and I take advantage of that because I'm always gone and I leave you alone, and I'm a bad mother and I neglect my house and I spend all my time taking care of other people, but I don't take care of you. And Amy says nothing back to it. Like her mom says all this and Amy doesn't respond to it at all. And I feel, and it's not like, it doesn't feel like she does it in a like a negative way, but it's like she doesn't have anything, she doesn't give her back any platitudes. She's just, it's just, this is the truth. And I feel like, and then she has this whole like inner monologue about, oh yeah, mom and dad had nothing in common and dad was a painter and he decided he needed to run off and he never came back. And I don't know, could you imagine that? Probably a lot of us can imagine that, but like, of course that would affect her. Like, she's got a mom who, at least in words, loves her and cares about her, but is not there. Like, to Celine's point, like, she probably could be there, and it seems like she acknowledges that she could be there, but she's not. And her dad has just left. And all right, fine, like artistic calling or whatever, but like, you have a kid, it's that easy to leave your kid. How does that make your kid feel? So she clearly, like anybody, I think, would and could have abandonment issues about that, would have issues about trusting other people and being open to other people. So of course she didn't have a lot of friends. Like, the people who should love her most in the world are not really relating to her or taking care of her. And she's had to take care of herself. So of course she's independent. Of course she's used to being alone. But she also very clearly admires both of them. She obviously admires her mother because she wants to be a doctor. She wants to be a doctor like her mom. I suspect she admires her dad too. I think that's what allows her to go and be a Sailor Scout in the first place, because it's like this weird like rebellion against everything else that she values. That's her dad in her. That's her like acknowledging that, like, yeah, I have this dream, I have this thing that I'm aiming for, but also I want to go fight monsters with my friends. And I'm just going to do it. And my friends gave me the skill to do that, and wouldn't have had that if they weren't there. Like, I think that's such an interesting development for her as a person.
Yeah.
And how hard must that have been to square? And that's why that episode where she almost leaves, like, that's such a defining episode for her, because that's her dream. In theory, that's what she thinks she wants. That's what she says she wants. But then ultimately she decides, no, I want to be here. And I want to do this with my friends. That's her dad. That's her father's influence allowing her to do that. And that's such an interesting dichotomy in a person.
That really is. And then I wanted to point out a few comments. I'm sorry if I mispronounce it. Is it Ligaius Joyce? Says, in Asia, as someone born to a family of doctors and healthcare professionals, the professionals are expected to always be available. Self-care is a very Western, especially in the 1990s.
I believe that.
They continue. I had aunts and uncles who worked 20 hours a day in hospitals where they're expected to be on call. Yeah, I pronounced it correctly. Sorry,
Okay.
I was just happy I pronounced it correctly.
That's
interesting. Yeah, thank you for that insight, because we do come from a Western perspective. So please, if you do have insights, let us know. Oh, that's true. Okay. Okay, and then just a few other comments. Wildcat Diana says, I love the chapter in the manga that Fisheye makes Ami admit she wants to find love eventually, and how she does have some abandonment issues. I love that chapter. And then Rizuki coming in, saying that is a good point. It's also probably why she got hyper-focused into her studies.
Because what else did she have to focus on? Like, at her age, you would think, you would expect her parents to be, you would hope her parents would be part of her life and guiding her and giving her other things to talk about and experience or whatever. And she's left to herself, and the only thing she can focus on is, I want to be a doctor. I want to be like my mom. So that's what I'm going to do. And that's the only thing I'm going to do. And the only thing that breaks her out of that is meeting Usagi and suddenly discovering there's another world she can get into.
Yeah. Oh, man.
This is why I love her. She seems like such a simple character on the surface, but there's so much to her that I feel like so many of us can relate to. Maybe it's not this exact situation, but this whole like parental expectations versus what we want for ourselves, and even having competing dreams for ourselves, like wanting two things that like don't really coexist well. Like, that's such a relatable thing that a lot of people deal with, and she's dealing with it at a really young age in a really extreme way. But like, it's interesting to see how she handles it, and how she, through the whole thing, is like the level-headed, thoughtful, like stable one.
Yeah, we should probably move on, because otherwise we're going to keep going, because this is such a good topic that I'm like, oh no. Let's talk about Ami's love life. So Want to also first point out, Greg is nothing but green flags. He is amazing. I love Greg. I wish she ended up with Greg. That moment at the Ferris wheel.
Also, that ad is hilarious. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry about that. Ah!
To put it bluntly, don't drive
funny.
high. Okay.
So funny, Greg. Do not drive high. Come on.
He looked high with those blank
A
eyes.
little.
Oh my god. But what we wanted to do was we wanted to watch a clip. This might get cut from YouTube. If it does get cut, I'm sorry, but you'll get our discussion about it. And this is Ami's first love.
Yay. I've never seen this before. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Also, definitely cannot imagine her with the Zoe site. I hate that
No.
general pairing. F that.
No.
Absolutely not. I'm okay with all the other ones, but I cannot see her with Zoe site ever.
Nah, the Zoe side from PGSM though.
See, I gotta see it. I gotta watch it. I don't know.
I
believe
love
you.
the Zoe site from PGSM. He's fantastic. He plays the piano.
I need to
Also,
watch it.
Darkury fucking hates him.
All right, we love the
He
enemies.
does
It's the
not
wonders
like
thing.
him. She basically is like, shut your mouth, you little bitch. And he's like, excuse me?
I'm into that.
Especially she's like, you're gonna catch these hands, motherfucker. And I'm just playing my piano. The fact that you stopped it.
This is like one of the best songs. Again, like
We're gonna
Sailor
run
Moon music, so good.
It's
That
the
is such a good
disrespect
song.
that you gave me as I'm giving a concert over here.
I know you were giving a concert. I was watching.
Okay, but that was so cute. I've never seen that. I did not know that at all.
That was actually like really great characterization for Mercury
Yeah,
too.
for sure.
She was so cute, and I like how she was like picturing young Einstein. Yes, boy, yes.
And they're all like, he looks like Umino. Oh my god.
Somebody brought up while we were watching, rest in peace to
Yes.
Emi Shinohara, Makoto's voice actor. But I thought everybody would just really enjoy that little clip of, I had never seen it before, Ami's first love. So that was new to me, and I thought it was so
Yeah, it's
cute.
I haven't
amazing.
seen it in forever.
Yeah, I've heard about it for years and I've never had an opportunity to see it. So that's awesome. Awesome you got to get it so we could watch it.
Yeah. All right. What else? Any last final thoughts on Mercury? Selene, you want to go first?
I'll say who my favorite Mercury is.
Who?
Definitely Deek Dub. That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
Oh.
She was my first. Like I said, I've always connected with Usagi because of the crybaby side. But Ami was like my second because I did act like her completely. I didn't have any friends. Unfortunately, I never had an Usagi in my life. I had to become my own Usagi and be the Usagi for other Amis. My second favorite Ami is Darkury. That is my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
She's just, first of all, she looks hot as fuck because they like give her like a dark edginess. And also she's much more just gives no fucks and she's mean. She becomes like a mean girl. And I love that for her. You'll really enjoy PGSM, Erica.
So excited
When they
to
get
see
into the
this.
Darkury, you're like, because Darkury is like a replacement for like Tuxedo Mask being brainwashed instead. They do Mercury, and the dynamic she has with the generals is actually hilarious because she fucking drags them. You're an incompetent piece of shit, basically. She goes, yeah, you're incompetent. Sit the fuck down. You're not doing this. I am, because I'm better than you. And you're like, I'm sorry, what? She has such a backbone.
Love that. Love that for
But
her.
PGSM, Ami is one of my favorites, especially when she is Darkury. She's got a really big personality, and you also get to see the friendship between her and Usagi a lot deeper in PGSM. Like the stuff I was talking about with how Usagi is the best friend, like they are best friends with each other. That's the best friend out of the whole group is them two. You really see it in PGSM because it's, I don't know, it's more relatable because it's actual people. It's not cartoons. So definitely if you're able to pick it up, it's what do we say, 43 episodes with these specials?
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know where you can watch it online. I think, do you have that, Michi? Where to watch it?
Yeah, it's one of the Sailor Moon. Is it Sea of Serenity or
Something like that.
Mystery?
We'll find Michi. Just make a note to maybe find that and send it to Erica so Erica can watch it.
Sea of Serenity. Yeah.
I have it on. I've got it on bootleg
Uh-huh.
DVD from back in the day when you used to find all the bootlegs on eBay.
I was going to say, so many of us have many of our anime anything from back in the day. It's all
Yep.
bootleg fans
And they were like in the slide-in plastic cases,
Oh yes.
and they like unfolded. I know. I just aged a lot of the crowd in here.
Like
Yes.
sitting right here because this is
The
how I do my
classics.
research this week. Is my terrible
Yes.
bootleg.
I love it.
So that's really my final thoughts. I don't think Mercury is the weakest in power when compared to some of the other scouts. She is the person who freezes shit. She's the one who sets up for the powerful ones. She's the setup. Because like she does defeat Birdie, but they're the same power against the same power. So she excels when she's going against the same power. She is the more powerful when she's going against her own power. But when it's another power, she's a master strategist. Yes. She is the setup she's the first step to defeating stuff is what she is. And I think that's why people view her as the weakest, is because they're like, oh, she's not attacking. I was like, hello, you need the setup before you go and attack and actually defeat stuff. Like, she's giving everybody else the opportunity to actually use their full power without being stopped. Like I said, she is more powerful when she is going against her own element. She's the most powerful, but when she is going against other elements, she has to be the first step because she does get her world rocked essentially when she's going against something else that's not her own power. That's my final thoughts.
Awesome. Go ahead, Erica.
Yeah, I mean that's all spot on. I feel like the whole question of whether she's the weakest just depends on how you define strength. Because if you define strength as like how much damage can you do, then like, yeah, she is. Realistically, she's not a damager. She's not a brawler. She's not out there taking monsters out in one hit. That's just not her. But if you define it based on what you contribute to the fight and what you contribute to the team, then absolutely not. And I don't think you could say any of them is the weakest. I think every one of the Senshi has their own strengths that they bring, and all of them are essential. And I think Amy's strengths are absolutely essential. And I think the ways that she contributes to the team and the way that she supports the team, I think I said it early on in the stream, if the couple of instances where they were fighting without her, they were very obviously hampered without her. They had a harder time without her. And I don't think they as a team would be as strong without her. So yeah, like in terms of attack strength, she may be the weakest, but as a person who makes the rest of the team stronger, she's essential. And I think that her personality means so much to the overall balance of the team. It means so much to Usagi as the leader. You can't have the Sailor Senshi without Amy, without Mercury. And I think the degree to which so many of us can relate to her in so many different ways, like it's not just about her being the smart introvert. There's so many things about her that I think we all can see ourselves in. Just so many of them, like they're all important. And I think I'm just really glad to see that she's starting to get her due with the fans. Because like you said in the very beginning, like for a long time, she was the butt of the joke for a lot of people. But in the last few years, people have been coming out of the woodwork and being like, yeah, you know what? I like Amy. I'm a Mercury stan. That's me. There's a lot of us out there. And I think that's great to see because she deserves it. And I love her. Like I've said it before, like she's my best girl. I will love her forever. And I'm glad so many other people love her.
Yes, and I'm glad that tonight we got to go through a lot of the things that make her how unique and how wonderful and complex her character is. Like by showing that she can fight in her own way, even if she's not physically the most strong fighter. but she also is like super intelligent and uses that in ways not only for like battle but for like people, where she's trying to help Usagi and she's trying to help the girls with their studies, and like she's always that caring friend that makes time. She's one of those people that shows like if you want to, you will make time for it.
Yep.
She may be reading a book while she's listening to you cry about your boyfriend dumping you, but she will be there for
Yep.
you.
100%. And we could all, A, hope to be that, and B, hope to have that.
100%. And I just have respect for her as a character. Also, to shout out to her voice actresses, and they were all fantastic. I love every iteration of Mercury.
Same. I haven't seen PGSM, but I like, again, like prepping for this, I watched a bunch of old episodes of the Deke dub. I watched some of the Viz dub, which, like, for the record, I have been very much no fucking Viz dub. That is not my scene. But like, I watched some of it. It's pretty freaking good. And like, obviously, the original Japanese VA was great. Like, they all have their own, what feels to me like very authentic take on the character, and they're all a little bit different, but they all feel like her, and like I can accept all of them. And I love getting those different visions of who this character is and like how they all come together, and like your overall, this is Amy. Like, they're all Amy, and I love it.
It's a really beautiful thing how defined her character is.
Absolutely.
All right, and then a couple last comments, and then we're calling it a night because it is past our bedtimes. So, first I want to bring up, if you don't mind, so Ligaius Joy says, wish we could have dived into Sailor Mercury's. I did not expect that we would go. I actually had more material planned to talk about. We just didn't have time tonight. We ended up down too many rabbit holes and too many tangents, and I enjoyed each and every one of them, so I'm not upset about it.
We had a very active chat. Like, we're actually very happy, and that's why we couldn't touch on some of the subjects we wanted to. Mia would definitely have been all Michi from me, because I actually have not seen the Sailor Mews yet.
Me either, at all.
Yeah, there's some things we actually have some subjects on our list we didn't get to talk about, and that's because you guys were so active, and we really appreciate that, because it actually makes the conversation, I don't know, more interesting between all of us, to be honest. It brings you guys in a little bit more, and it's not just us flapping our mouths. I love to yap,
Yeah.
but I also like to yap with you, just so you guys know. So.
Yeah. And maybe a part 2.
Awesome.
We'll say it would not be this season. Yeah. It would be at least the 5th or 6th season. We like to break up our topics.
Yeah, part 2 could be next season.
Yes, and then I also agree she is the master strategist too. Let's not forget that. And in a group of brute force, you need a strategist like her.
100%. Yep.
Yeah, and then Wildcat Diana brings up about PGSM Mercury. It's her fear of abandonment that makes her turn, and it stays consistent in her fear. It's her fear. Again, maybe a part 2, because you know what? There's a lot of meat left.
I mean, there's a lot more to like PGSM Mercury, to be honest.
Oh my god, Rizuki. She's the Donatello of the group. And Joy brings up, technically PGSM had 2 Mercuries. The girl who played Naru Osaka and the girl was, and on the show was one of the Sailor Mercuries. Chieko Kawabe. All right. And then finally back to all the comments. And Rizuki says maybe a Sailor deep dive might be a good idea for a character analysis. Break it up between inners, outers. Ooh, that could be fun. We'll definitely see in the future. We got to get Selene to watch them.
Bro, we'll try. I get to see live Sailor Moon next month.
Oh, you're going to the live?
Yes, and
yes. We got VIP tickets.
So much fun.
Yes, and that'll be our May topic. Will be the new live, and that'll be with the last Black Moon.
Are they going to see it?
Yeah, they're going to go see it, and they're going to then come on and talk with us.
Okay, so we'll have both seen it. Cool. Stella.
Yep. All right. So then I guess it is time to say goodnight. So let's do our outro.
And this brings us to the end of our show. Thank you for joining us for the 3rd episode of season 4. We'll be going on our next mini adventure in April. We'd like to thank tonight's special guest, Erica of K-Sisters Cosplay. Please go ahead and plug yourself.
Hi, I'm Erica. I am at K-Sisters Cosplay on Instagram with my sister Kristen. And I'm also on Blue Sky. If you find me at Erica K-Sister or K-Cosplay, I don't know. I don't remember. If you got whatever, find me on Instagram. I'll give you a link. But yeah, please come find us. Thank you so much for having me. This has been amazing.
Yay, we're so glad. And it's spelled like this, right? Sorry, I forgot to get the thing already.
Yep. Yeah, and it's all one word on Instagram. Easy to find. You'll find us.
Yes, I was able to find them on all the on Blue Sky
Thank
too.
you.
So
Remember, Boonies, to follow us on all of our socials. All of those links are in the link tree in our description. Look below me. You see it? Down there. Okay. Previously recorded Eternal Mooncast content is available on YouTube, so remember to hit the bell to receive our notifications. For Bishojo Senshi Slumber Party reactions, you can find them on our Patreon for free 99. And our next discussion episode will be coming out
April 19th.
April 19th. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you for joining us tonight. My friends, I have been your co-host, Selene, and you can find me on all of my socials as Azira_witch. Okay? I am Selene here for this show, but everywhere else, I am Azira_witch, as I am also a streamer. As you can see my model, it's right here. I stream on weekends at the moment. I stream on Saturday at 10 a.m. EST. And I am trying to be your next magical girl VTuber here on Twitch. So yes, I am a magical girl inspired by Sailor Moon, by Cardcaptor Sakura, Shugo Chara, Tokyo Mew Mew, the classics. Feel your neck, your back crack, your knees go out. But yeah, all right. Go on, Michi, your turn.
All right. As always, I have been your host, Michi. You can find my personal socials at MEW21. For my K-pop reactions, you can find them over on the K-pop Voyage over on YouTube. That is when I hang out with Monica and Julie and we react to K-pop. And I'm going to hopefully be getting in some more friends in on it soon because the Voyage has fun times for friends. Now, for Eternal Mooncast, likes, comments, or however you like to support our show in your own way is always awesome. We love reading all your comments on YouTube. As a quick reminder, these have just been our personal opinions, and we respect all respectful Moonie opinions here. We are working hard on the show to be a place for Moonies to come together for their theories, for their love and passion of Sailor Moon. Remember, as Mercury once said, go bleach your roots, creep. Good night.
Good night.